If you live in Duval and have been thinking about raising some backyard chickens, yes, having some fresh eggs when you want them, and turn this up, everybody. You don't want to miss this information. Joining us is Dr. Stephen Genovine, and like a fine wine. Man, I've been learning a lot from you already, and you basically specialize in chickens in small farms, right? And thanks for joining us, first of all.
Thanks for having me here, Mike.
Yes, you look great, and you brought a guest. We'll get to Henrietta in a bit, but where in Duval County can residents have backyard chickens?
If you're zoned agriculture, rural residential, or residential, and with agriculture and rural residential, you don't need a permit, but if you're on residential zoning, you have to take a class that we offer through IFAS Extension and apply for a permit, and you're allowed to have up to 5 hens.
Okay.
Which is plenty enough to have fresh eggs every day.
That's good. You know, we all love some eggs. Tell us, why would you want to raise a backyard chicken? I think we've already touched on that a little bit.
Well, they're a great addition to your garden. If you're an avid gardener, they're an easy way to get some compost.
That's true. Once you're done with the egg, enjoy the eating, and then you can just crush it and put it in the garden. That's a great point.
And fertilizer prices are going up, so chickens can help you be a better gardener. They're fun pets. Kids love them.
Yeah, they do. They certainly do. We're seeing those cute little chickens and little chickadees. And what do you need to do before you get one of these chickens?
So I'd say the first step is to realize that it is a living animal. It's a commitment. This isn't something like a garden gnome you're going to be able to put in your backyard, just set and forget. You need to take care of them. You need to pay attention to them, get all the right equipment, take the class and kind of get a better understanding of what you're getting yourself into, get all the correct equipment, the coop, nesting box, run.
Right, and they're like, they're really cool pets. Do you think there's something? I met Henrietta that you brought in this morning, and she talks to you. She seems very warm and cordial. So do they make good pets for the little ones?
I get asked that question a lot about, you know, specifically what would be the best chicken breeds for children. Yeah. And there are some breeds that tend to be a little more docile and friendly. What we have today in the studio is a Highline Brown, which is one of the more docile and friendly breeds. But chickens have their own personalities.
Yes, they do.
Some of them, you know, if you have a kid that's kind of fast and loud, might not be great. But part of the class, if you take it, I go over some of the breeds and which ones are better. Some of the advice I always give people with children is, if you give treats, when you give your chickens treats, they kind of associate you with treats, and they'll run up to you and be really excited every time they see you.
Okay.
And if you let your kids do that,
just be ready, right? So they're smart. Okay, that's good to know. And now that we're in thunderstorm season and, you know, hurricane season, we're going to have some heat waves this summer. What do you do when the weather gets rough with these cuties?
So that's, if you have what we call a climate hardy breed, they can typically stay out all summer and all winter. If you don't, then you should probably get a secondary shelter, you know, specifically for something like a hurricane. If you have a garage, you can bring them in something like a dog crate and put them inside for the storm.
Okay.
But, you know, that might not be feasible. Summertime in Florida, 90s for weeks on end. It's probably better to have one of the climate hardy breeds.
Right. Okay, definitely with all of the heat coming in. Tell us, how long do they actually live and produce eggs?
So they can live for up to about 10 years, but they'll stop producing eggs at about 7 to 10 years. And it's another bit of advice I try to give people is, don't have all 5 of your hens the same age, because they'll all stop producing eggs around the same time.
Interesting. Okay, very good points. Now, for folks that may want some roosters or ducks or geese, how does that work?
The current ordinance in Duval County that allows us to have backyard hens in the residential areas does not allow for ducks or any other species. It's only hens, no roosters. But if you're agriculture or rural residential, you're allowed to.
Okay, very good information, Stephen. And Doctor, I think it's time. Henrietta, I think, wants to come out and play. Yes, Henrietta. We match and see how she walks. She walks around. So my dad joke, Henrietta, is, why does Dr. Stephen and I like letting you walk around? Well, because it's poultry in motion, of course.
I think you upset her.
Okay, I'll do better on my jokes. Thank you so much for being with us, Dr. Stephen. And of course, we'll share more information on this on our website, firstcoastliving.net.